My name is Matta Lee. I'm from Booking.com. And so thank you so much. Thank you to the sponsors. Thank you to NetDirect. Thank you to DarkSide for having me here. It's a pleasure to come here and talk to you all. Hopefully what I'll talk to you today will inspire some of you and maybe give you a different perspective. But so thank you. And in my language, I'm actually from Hawaii. So when I say thank you, I say mahalo. Or jekwil, is that correct? I hope. Thanks. So it really is an honor to be here speaking with you today. But how amazing is this? I grew up in Honolulu, Hawaii. Mahalo, right? It's 12,000 kilometers from Ostrava. So if I had to walk here from Hawaii, it would take me over 300 days to get here. And it's just amazing. It's just amazing how travel has turned into this kind of amazing way that you can easily get to places and you can get new experiences and to inspire yourself. So to start this whole conference, I wanted to show a little video. So let's start with the video.
Just push over just a bit and then roll.
Family smells of the wines. Do you like the smell?
Most important to feel, to listen.
Push! Almost there.
What a great video. That's a video by Rick Marecki. It was done for the Australian Travel Authority. But you can really feel the passion, you can feel the yearning and the need to travel. So we live in a great age where travel is so accessible. Traveling is one of the most exciting, rewarding, fulfilling, fun, soul-searching, soul-finding activities in the world. One could even argue that within the civilized world, this is a common trait among everyone. So today I want to take you on a journey, and actually I want to take you on my journey if you will allow me to. I want to show you how travel is, what inspires us, and how we can make a change, and how we can understand different cultures of the world, and how we can make that help our businesses to be more profitable, to be more successful, and to really understand. And this is actually where I grew up. This is actually the swimming pool where I learned how to swim in Hawaii. But I did forget to do something in the beginning. If you please excuse me, I do have a bet with Christina Mauser, who you met yesterday, to see how many questions we can get. So if you can pump my numbers and my likes up, that would be great. So why travel? What is it about travel? The first thing is I love to travel. And now my clicker's not working. There we go. So this is a map of some of the places that I've traveled to. As you can see, I love to travel. I mean, I've only missed Africa and South America, and I'll be rectifying that pretty soon. But travel is so fulfilling. It's so passionate. They say live life to the fullest. They say travel changes your life. But what is the most important thing? The reason why I like to travel? Can we get a clicker working? Clicker? Thank you. I work for this small little company. So this little company called Booking.com, we happen to be one of the largest e-commerce companies in the world. I get to travel for a living. I get to translate cultural norms into something that can be used on a global scale. And so that's kind of what I want to share with you today. So let's go into a little bit of history. So why do we travel? So if we think about it in a historical context, You know, we traveled for political reasons. We traveled for societal reasons. We traveled because there was a lack of resources or monetary things. If we look back at the Silk Road was built because people wanted to get resources from Asia. So people would travel across the world, you know, from Istanbul all the way to China to get tea, to get spices, to get everything that would make them rich in their own country. Even in America, we had the same thing. So in America, it's a country of migrants. But at the same time, they would still go on wagons for months on ends across the nation so that they could get to different resources. So in San Francisco, this clicker, thank you, they brought the quest for gold. So San Francisco, they were looking for gold. Even in the Klondike in Alaska and in Canada, what they would do is, this is actually a picture of people traveling up. Every single day they would make this trek so that they could go to the gold fields and they could gather their wealth and to find gold and to become happy and take it back to their country. So Mark Twain once said, 20 years from now, we'll be more disappointed in the things that you didn't do than the ones that you did do. And I guess, I'm sorry, we're having a little technical difficulty here. But I told you that I wanted to talk about my journey a little bit. So I thought I would tell you about the journey of Hawaii. And Hawaii, not many of you know the whole journey. I think I met one person here that had grown up in Hawaii, so I hope I'm on the right track. But I want to kind of tell you, Hawaii, it's this beautiful place. This is where I grew up. It's smack dab in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. It's one of the most remote places on Earth. And so how did my ancestors get there? And even more importantly, how did people get there in the first place? So if we look back 1,000 years, we can see about 81,000 is when people from Tahiti went up and found Hawaii. They did this, they migrated around 1000 AD, but whereas most places in the world, you migrate over land, you migrate with a camel, or with a wagon or a train, this was a whole different story. So in Hawaii, they had these 10-meter canoes that they would travel for months on end. So up to 2 months, the ancient Hawaiians were skilled mariners. So they would literally, one of the theories is in Tahiti, they were being persecuted. And what they did was they saw this North Star, kind of like this spotlight in my face, and they said, I think there's land over here. And they just traveled there for 2 months in an open canoe, just trying to find land. But then the story goes a little bit faster, and there we go. Then in 1778, James Cook found the Hawaiian Islands. So what ensued was this great tale, but given our limited time, I'm just going to kind of condense it down to a couple of key points. So with it brought missionaries, and missionaries found that whaling was one of the key industries in Hawaii. So this was the end of the migratory path of the humpback whales. And the whales at the time were the key source of heat, the key source of candle making in the world. So people started to flock to Hawaii. They started to come together to get resources. They started agriculture. They had pineapples. They had sugarcane. And with that brought the need for other people to actually migrate to Hawaii. And that brings us to my journey. So my journey, my family, this is actually a picture of my family. This is my grandmother and her 14 siblings. I'm not sure which one my grandmother is, but, and then there's us. And how did we get there? You know, so that's all about necessity of travel and the need to travel and actually going to someplace. But travel nowadays is not about that. Most times, travel is about leisure. And leisure is kind of where I want to kind of hit the points on to see, you know, now travel is dominated by leisure. And, you know, how did we get there? So in 1660, there was something called the Grand Tour. I'm not sure if any of you heard of it, but this is where, you know, oh, I can't see the side, I'm sorry. The Grand Tour is where the French and the English nobility traveled around the world for 3, 4, 5, 6 months on end because they wanted to see the world. But it was so inaccessible. People couldn't travel. People didn't have the money to travel. So what did they do? Then we get to since I don't have it up here, 1841, Cook's Tour. Cook's Tour was the first travel agency. So now you have the ability to take a train and you could go across the world. You could go to China, you could go to Asia, you could go to Africa, all on a train, and it was accessible to the masses. But what happens? It was 1660. Oh, there we go. 1841. Now we're looking at 1903. What happened in 1903? We had the Wright brothers. The Wright brothers were first airplane. Then it goes faster, even faster. 1958, we had jet engines. So now, what took 10 hours on a flight from Hawaii to the mainland, USA, now took 5 hours. And, sorry, I can't help, but I will answer some of these questions in a little bit, but this is not my first visit to the Czech Republic, and I did use Booking.com to book my trip. 1996, what was that? In 1996, we had Expedia. Expedia was one of the first online travel agencies. Now we can travel. Now we can book our hotel anywhere in the world and know that I have a secure place to stay. Before that, there was, you had a book, you had a catalog, you don't know what this hotel looks like, you don't know if they're gonna get the reservation or not. Now you can do it all online. And then in 2007, we had the first disruption in the industry. Can anyone tell me what that first disruption was? What happened in 2007? What was that? No. Booking.com actually started in 1998. But what was the big disruption? This little thing, this little device. Does anyone remember before the iPhone, before a smartphone? How did you actually get around? How did you use things? This thing changed the way you could travel. Now, I can book on the go. I can be here in Ostrava at the train station and say, I gotta find a hotel room for tonight. What do I do? Oh, I have my iPhone. I don't have to worry anymore. But now, so we had a disruption in the industry, but now we have new things. We have wearables. So this is our new wearable app called Booking Now. So now you're able to, on the phone, or actually on the watch, you're able to book the nearest hotel. You're able to get the directions, the turn-by-turn directions to your hotel, and you can actually know when you're allowed to check in. So this is the industry. It's kind of disrupting, it's changing, it's moving along. So that takes us to why we need to research in a local environment. So let's first take the US, for example, because it's easiest for me, and hopefully it'll be enlightening for you. Last year in 2014, only 41% of people in America 41% of Americans took no vacation days in 2014. How absurd is that? That means only 59% of people actually took a vacation in the US. Less than 40% of Americans have a passport. And only 12% of Americans took an international trip in 2015. So one could ask, why are Americans so afraid? One could argue that Americans are afraid of traveling internationally, but why are they so afraid? So I have 3 examples of why they might be afraid. First one being language. They don't know the language. If I were a typical American, I might be afraid of coming to Ostrava because I don't know if anyone speaks English. But looking around here, I don't see very many of you with headsets. I think most of you can understand English. Why are Americans so afraid? There's also afraid of being lost. I don't know where I am. I'm in the middle of the Czech Republic. I don't know how I'm going to get there. There is that fear of being lost. And then there's the fear of being lonely. So you're away from your friends, you're away from your family, you're out of touch, you're out of sync, out of contact. But is that really something that Americans should be so afraid about? Why are they so afraid? We have technology now that actually can fix this, right? We have Google Translate. And please tell me if this is good or not. I don't know the quality of Google's translation. I'm not going to say it. I work for Booking.com, not Google, so sorry. We have directions. We can actually use the phone to find out where we need to be. I don't have to be lost anymore. And we have social media like Periscope, like Skype, Facebook, Meerkat, Twitter. We can stay connected to our families and friends in the US. We don't have to feel lonely anymore. So, why are they so afraid? We can fix all these problems. So my contention is, and doing local research and really talking to people and seeing what is the problem. Here's one of the theories of why Americans are so afraid of traveling internationally. First, they have great beaches. They have beautiful beaches. Some could argue that they have the best beaches in the world. Secondly, they have mountains, snow. So I have beaches, mountains, snow. What else do I need? Oh, they got deserts too. They have some of the most beautiful landscapes. And then, of course, they have the big cities. So you can visit that. So one could argue that they have everything that they need. They don't need to travel. I don't personally agree with this statement. There's other things like culture and history and, seeing different things. But when talking to Americans, that was their rationale. But I wouldn't have found that out unless I actually went and I talked to them and I actually researched this with them. So I really want to emphasize the point. I want to keep you thinking and keep research local. I want you to think in local terms. I want you to talk to local people. And that doesn't mean the people in the Czech Republic, right? That means people who are going to be using your markets. So one of the main markets out there that could actually be helpful for the Czech market is China. So when I was in Prague earlier this week, I was on the Charles Bridge and we're walking around, and all I saw was selfie sticks. Selfie stick, selfie stick, selfie stick. And all behind those selfie sticks were Chinese people. The Chinese people are flocking to your culture. The Chinese people are coming here. And why are they coming here? So if we think about it, in 2014, first of all, there's 1.5 or 1.3 billion Chinese in the world. And in 2014, 107 million Chinese people traveled internationally. Think of that number, 107 million people. That's a lot. And Prague, I'm sorry, we're no Strava, but Prague is in the top 10 of their list. And so, that's a 20% rise from the previous year. And they spent nearly $150 billion in American on travel. That's almost 1,500 people or $1,500 per every traveler. But what is it about the Chinese people? So we go and we do research and we find out, and we really want to know, what is it? What makes them tick? So the first thing is they love to travel in groups. They feel secure, they feel safe in a group. So this is actually one of the first Chinese tours in Paris. And look how many people they are. This is just one travel group that's actually traveling. The second, as I mentioned before, they like to spend money. They have a lot, and this is a real picture. They will wait in lines to get to their Louis Vuitton, their Gucci, their Prada, their Coach, anything they want. They have the money to spend. I think I was talking to C-Trip, and they were saying that on average, Chinese will spend about $2,000 just on gifts to take home. That's an absurd amount of money. But if we're trying to lure the Chinese people, what are the top 3 things that you would think that Chinese people are looking for in accommodation? So I ask you that. I'm looking for 3 things. Someone come up with something. What are Chinese people looking for in a hotel? I'm going to start pointing at people. Cheap. Good one. Next one. I need 2 more. Language. And I heard one up here, but I didn't get it. Comfort. Three great ideas. But when in reality, Chinese are looking for three things. Someone to speak Chinese, a water kettle, and bedroom slippers. These are the top three things they look for when they're looking for their accommodation. So, unless we actually go to these cultures and we speak to them, we won't really know who or what they are or what makes them tick. I mean, if we look at this right here, I mean, this is the US Census. This is kind of the region of the US. It can even be broken out into 4 different areas. And I would argue that here, even in Czech Republic, there are different microcultures that you might want to know. For example, and I hope I'm not offending anyone here, I do talk a little fast. I speak very fast. And so someone said I speak like someone from Ostrava. But if I were from Prague, I would have to speak very slow and very deliberate. So, how do we understand that? How do we do that? At Booking.com, what we do is we actually go out and research. So here we actually do a lot of research in our Amsterdam offices. And so we actually run anywhere between, I don't know, at least 1 or 2 user tests a week. So we're running a lot of user tests with the local market. But we also travel. We also travel to the destinations. We go to the US, we go to Canada, we go to China. We hit most of Eastern Europe, and I see that Czech Republic's not in there. So if you guys can help me out, maybe we can come back here. But, so what is the culmination of this? Why am I actually telling this to you guys? So travel's changing. And as technology helps travelers lose their inhibitions to travel, there's going to be more and more people traveling around the world. So we need to be there to understand their needs. Whether it's something like this is a robot butler that helps people into their hotel room, or we have things like a new watch that helps you open your hotel door. You don't need a key anymore. Boom, boom. If we can figure this out, we can actually help people who are from Hawaii. We can help them tailor the experience so that people from Hawaii or people from Las Vegas or people from, Seattle, they can have a great experience. Or even people from Amsterdam. Or for me, like someone from all 4 places. Because think of this. In 2018, sorry, this clicker is horrible. If all goes well, Chinese travel in 2018 could equal $250 billion. Let's think about that. And so many of them are coming to the Czech Republic. What if we were able to understand them better, market ourselves better, and what if we could capture that 1.00001% of that Chinese market and get more of them to come to the Czech Republic? I think we would all in this room be in a happier place. So I just wanted to remind you to keep research local. Thanks.
Oh, thank you.
So I think Chris beats me with the questions.
So, is this your first visit to Czech Republic? And how did you book your hotel for this trip?
So this is my second trip. The last trip I took here was in 2005. And actually, one of the stories I was going to tell was actually getting lost because we didn't have the technology and the phones at that time to actually, go around and go through that. But yeah.
How did you book the hotel?
Of course, Booking.com.
Booking. Okay. And was it working?
It worked.
Ah.
Yeah.
Why Booking.com doesn't work in Iran?
I don't know. That's a good question. That would be a legal decision that the company would have to make.
Okay, check it next time.
Yeah, I'll check it.
Is there something what travel have taken away from you?
Like, what have I taken away from travel? Travel has inspired me and has made me more multicultural and made me more comfortable in different environments and helped me to be comfortable coming to Ostrava and to talk to many people that don't necessarily speak my language.
Maybe the question was if it has taken away anything from you.
Oh, has it taken away anything from me? No, I don't think it has. I mean, we're all inspired to
You didn't lose
travel.
a wallet even once?
Oh, I've lost a backpack once with a laptop, but that happens. Yeah.
You can't blame traveling.
No, you can't blame the travel for that. You can just blame.
It was just you.
Yeah.
Why the booking newsletter inviting me to Ostrava, though it knows that I'm here right now?
That's a great question, and it's something that I work on with our email marketing team. I send it to them every single day. I'm like, why are you sending me this email? I already booked my trip to Prague. You don't need to send me another email to Prague or Ostrava, same way.
I think Booking.com is reading my email, my Gmail, because I booked a train
Yeah.
from Prague to Ostrava,
Yeah.
and 2 hours later I got the offer for Ostrava hotels.
We're
from
good, aren't we?
Booking.com. Yeah. How many hotels from Czech Republic are on Booking.com?
How many? I don't know that answer. That's a great question.
A lot.
A lot. I'm sure a lot. Yeah.
Is there some place that you want to visit but you couldn't yet?
Well, I haven't gone. I want to hit all 7 continents, so I haven't been to South America or Africa yet. And with having worked at this company now, I'm actually going to get the opportunity to do so.
But we could see it on the map
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
beginning of the presentation. So if somebody is from some places who haven't been yet, they can invite you.
Yeah. If we're going to Buenos Aires or Africa, let me know.
Why Booking.com succeed? What is the key essence in your opinion?
So Booking.com is actually a very lucky company. So we are very driven and we run in very small steps. So we experiment in small steps, and everything that we do is experimented upon with, if you call it A/B testing. So that is actually one of the keys to successes of Booking.com. They actually test everything live with customers to make sure it succeeds.
As far as I remember, it was founded by a guy in Amsterdam, wasn't it?
Oh, started by a guy in Amsterdam, yes.
Is he still around? Or?
He sold the company to an American group
yeah.
called Priceline,
Okay.
but now he actually works back at Booking.com.
He
He took about 10 years off, and he
Spent
thought,
all the money and now he has to work again.
I don't think he spent all the money. I think he still has all of the money, but he just loves working. So he actually works on our back-end systems, and he works to make the back end of the
And
website
his
better.
background, he's the IT guy?
Yeah.
Okay. What is the future of Booking.com? Any challenges you might have in mind?
So I showed a little picture of that. So I showed the wearable of the Booking Now watch. That is an application that allows you to book within your vicinity right away. So that is kind of the next future of Booking.com, and we have kind of directions, and we can take you there.
Somebody who can't Google is asking, what is your job at Booking.com?
That's a great question. I totally forgot to ask that, or tell you that. I'm actually the senior researcher at Booking.com, so I handle all the mobile apps at Booking.com. I do all the research. I travel the world and understand customer needs.
Why travel international? Why travel international when all varieties of holidays are in the US? I think it's back to your example that Americans are not traveling. So but I think you explained it later. So,
I did
yeah.
explain it in the slide.
And
Yeah.
are you currently looking for researchers here as well?
Come find me afterwards. Yes, we are always looking.
Okay.
We're a big organization.
Matt Lee, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. You want me to-